made all these news outlets and things like that. And I thought, well, it's funny, but it's more dangerous than people think because it's still getting quoted everywhere. And of course, when he came on Art of Charm and said the earth isn't really flat, I was just joking. I got hundreds of emails from people that went, well, you know why he had to say that, right? Because the Freemasons made him do this, and now it's all this. And so even once you put that out there, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube when you're an influencer. It's
I just don't know why anyone cares what shape Shaq thinks Earth is. I don't know why that's news.
Just because he's Shaq, I'm sure that's right.
I mean, except that he has a PhD in business management. So he's Dr. O'Neill. And you would think that if you have a PhD in anything, that you are a learned person in ways more than sort of the average other person. And that it might include being able to figure stuff out. And people care. I don't know why it was news.
I think people like to laugh at / with.
It's news
concept like that.
If he says something that is false, that can influence some agency he has power over.
It's those little microcosms, like you said, the
Bubbles.
illusion, the bubble, that breeds scientific illiteracy. So when I watch
science, it breeds much
shows,
more than that. It breeds not just science illiteracy, it breeds dogma. So you have a point of view that you are sure is correct. And you never see critique of your thoughts because your search engine never takes you there. And even if you did, you would staunchly defend your thoughts because it's a deeply held principle within you. It could be a bit of religious philosophy, political philosophy, cultural philosophy, each of which, if taken strongly, you can create a bubble that's impervious to criticism. And then you ossify in place. Susceptibility to it. By the way, if you hear kids in school talk, the teachers now never trust anything you see on the internet. Okay? By the way, that is equally as intellectually lazy as trusting everything you see on the internet. So what we need is not telling people don't trust anything on the internet. We need, in the kindergarten through 12 curriculum, somewhere in there, multiple times taught, how to process information and evaluate the likelihood of it being true. And that has huge value in these modern times. And it's just simply not taught.
It's really hard to teach that, which is
That's
one reason. It's tough.
It's hard, but so what?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. That's the point. It's hard, but you got to figure out how to do it because it's more important than just teaching facts. Mm-hmm. And a lot of other people just don't realize.
But they wouldn't call it a cone of ignorance.
No,
they would say this is the actual truth, and everyone else doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right. So don't waste your time with all that stuff. We already figured it out already. Yeah. So what can we do ourselves aside from making sure that we're watching or looking at different sources of information? What would you do if someone you cared about, your next door neighbor kid, goes, oh yeah, I heard about all this really completely false, dumb stuff, and he thinks it's true. Where do you even get people started on that?
So what I've seen happen is, because I can't be everywhere at once, there might be something written about something that I wrote or said. If it's critical in a way that's completely missing the idea or the point, there are enough people out there who will jump into the comment thread and just sort of take the person to task. Why would you say that? Because he's never actually said this. But you're saying he said it, but no, he said instead this. And why? For this, there are people who are plugged in enough into the whole portfolio that I have that's out there that they become sort of defenders in the comment threads. And so you should, I think, always be prepared to have that argument with someone who might otherwise just simply go unchallenged. If you let false arguments go unchallenged, they become laws.
Oh, that's interesting. It's true, and it can be really tempting to do so, especially when you're talking with somebody who is not only maybe condescending, but just refuses to hear your side of the argument. I guess there's only so much you can do, but especially when it's a young person, the conversation's always worth having.
The internet?
I don't trust everything I see on the internet, though.
So almost in all cases, the actual truth is a little more subtle than the simplified truth that is presented. A perfect circle, and then and sort of an oval, and then like a really skinny oval. And I said, pick the orbit that comes closest to Earth's orbit. You might pick the ellipse that is in the middle. However,
It's all three.
no, comes closer to
Really?
what Earth's orbit is than this sort of ovalized ellipse that I just drawn. Earth's orbit is a 3% ellipse. If I
Barely.
draw that on a page, you're not even really going to notice that.
Imperceptible, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked hard and you folded it to see if the edges match up,
Mhm.
yes, okay. So you're saying ellipse because you've been taught ellipse, but to say a circle would not be all that bad. But here's the rub: it's not even an ellipse, because the Earth and the Moon orbit their common center of gravity. It's the center of gravity of the Earth-Moon system that traces the ellipse. But Earth itself does this loop-de-loop wobbling with the Moon as it goes around the Sun. That's the actual path of the Earth around the Sun. But we just say it's an ellipse because we don't want to talk about the loop-de-loops,
Sure.
because that's a deeper level of understanding of what's going on. If I ask you what shape is the Earth, what would you say?
Sphere.
Okay? That comes very close to what we actually are.
At least I got that one right.
But if you want to be more precise, you would say we're a spheroid. We're wider at the equator than pole to pole, like a hamburger, right? But then we're not even that. We're slightly wider below the equator than at the equator. So we're a pear-shaped oblate spheroid.
Provided that the Earth isn't flat. Right.
Yeah, just in case the Earth isn't flat.
Just in
Right.
case.
So I'm saying all that is